Hello, friends. Imagine a quiet town where an ordinary house hides secrets dark enough to destroy every life inside it. Maya is a widow trying to survive. Sean is a troubled young man consumed by obsession. And when a mysterious new boy named Macy enters their world, jealousy begins to burn like fire. What starts as a tense family drama slowly turns into a chilling story of hidden desires, betrayal, manipulation, and deadly revenge. In this story, no one is truly innocent. Every smile hides danger, and every choice pushes them one step closer to tragedy. So get ready for a disturbing tale filled with suspense, shocking twists, and emotional darkness that will keep you hooked until the very end. Just as their moment ends, Maria arrives, and Ria begins talking to her as if nothing happened. Sean now feels as if fortune has turned in his favor. Sometimes Maya pulls him closer, and sometimes Ria gives him attention. One night, he again reaches Maya's house and watches from outside as Maya performs a private dance for James. After James leaves, Sean goes to Maya, and the two of them secretly meet again. The next day, James's lawyer, John, comes to visit. John is struck by Maya's beauty, but he controls himself. James explains that Maya is 22 years old and that when she was 12, her parents died in an accident. Warren. James had been a close friend of her father, and after the tragedy, there was no one else to care for her. So she came to live with him. Sean begins to believe that secret attention is the same thing as love, and that belief makes him careless. He does not see that every meeting is drawing him closer to danger, not happiness. Later, Sean is spending time with Ria in his own house when Maya arrives and sees Ria leaving. Maya wants to question Sean, but he avoids the subject and instead tries to distract her. After some time, Maya opens up and tells Sean more about her life with James. She says that after becoming an orphan, she had no choice but to stay with him. Over the years, dependence slowly turned into something complicated, unhealthy, and difficult to escape. Even so, she admits that being with Sean feels different and that she feels free when she is with him. Because of that, the two grow much closer. One day, while Sean and Maya are together, James sees them. He is shattered by the sight of Maya with someone else, and in his despair, he threatens to end his life. Maya somehow calms him down, while Sean returns home in panic. On the way, he stumbles and falls, and when he reaches home, he is still shaken. Maria sees the condition of her son and tells him to control himself and think clearly, but Sean no longer listens. The next day, he looks through the window again and sees Maya in James's arms. At that moment, he realizes that Maya may never truly leave James. Furious and heartbroken, Sean returns home and starts sharpening a knife. Just then, Ria comes to him, hoping to calm him down, but Sean only grows more agitated and pushes her away. From that moment on, Sean's jealousy hardens into something reckless. He stops thinking about consequences and starts seeing James not as the old man, but as the one person standing between him and the life he wants. As night falls, Sean keeps thinking about Maya. After struggling with his thoughts for a long time, he finally goes to Maya's house, carrying the knife. There he attacks James in a desperate act of rage. James tries to defend himself, and the noise brings Maya running into the room. By the time she arrives, James is dead and Sean is standing nearby in tears. Maya grabs a gun and shoots Sean. The next morning, when the police arrive, Maya tells them that she has never really known Sean and that perhaps he came to steal. She claims that after killing James, Sean tried to kill her too. At that moment, Sean is in the hospital, and Maria is crying as she looks at his condition. Sean is crying too, because although he survived, he now faces prison for James's murder. On the other hand, Maya soon appears in an entirely different light. She is now with John, the lawyer. Afterward, John tells Maria and the rest of the shopkeepers that they do not need to pay the rent for this year or the next because Maggie had been collecting double rent from them and they caught her and recovered the money. In truth, The entire market belonged to James. After his death, Maya distributes some money among the people to win their sympathy, then sells James's property and leaves for another city with John. In the end, it becomes clear that Maya's affection for Sean, along with the death of James, had all been part of a larger plan. James needed to be removed so that his property could be taken, and Sean, blinded by obsession, became the perfect tool. The story closes with Maria grieving, Sean ruined, James dead, and Maya moving on with everything she wanted. By then, the truth is no longer about romance or loyalty, but about manipulation, greed, and the way obsession can destroy everyone around it. That is where the story ends. The story begins with a woman named Maria. Maria lived alone in a small house with her son Sean because her husband had died a long time ago. One morning before leaving for work, Maria goes to the bathroom to bathe, but there is no water in the bucket. There is no water in the drum kept outside either, so she calls Sean and asks him to check the problem. Sean had been lying on the bed, bushed in his own thoughts, but as soon as he hears his mother's voice, he runs to her. The town seemed ordinary from the outside, slow, and no one could fully guess how much trouble was slowly gathering inside that house. Sean looks at the tap and says that there is no water in their line and that perhaps something is wrong with the pipe. After saying this, he goes out of the house to inspect it. While following the pipe, he reaches a nearby forest, and there he notices a house built among the trees. Outside that house is an open bathing area, and there Sean secretly sees a young woman named Maya. Instead of leaving, he hides and keeps watching her, completely drawn in by her beauty and by the mystery of the place. At the same time, all the shops in the market are facing another crisis. The shops are rented, and all the tenants used to pay the rent to a woman named Maggie. Maggie collected the money and was supposed to deliver it to the real owner of the market. But the problem is that Maggie has run away with the money, and now the owner is asking the shopkeepers to pay the rent again. That night, Maria tries to convince Sean that he should start taking some responsibility because she cannot support the whole house alone forever. But Sean hardly listens to her. He eats quietly and then goes back to his room. The market people were already anxious because paying the same rent twice would ruin many of them, and everyone feared losing the businesses that fed their families. Late at night, Sean still cannot sleep because he keeps thinking about Maya. The next day, he goes back to the forest to see her again. This time, he learns more about the house and the people who live there. Maya is taking care of a much older man named James, whose legs no longer work well. Even though there is a large age gap between them, Maya looks after James with complete dedication. Sean watches them secretly and becomes even more fascinated by Maya. After breakfast, James calls Maya over and speaks to her with possessive affection. Watching this from a distance, Sean becomes restless. On the other side of town, the shopkeepers speak to their lawyer about Maggie. The lawyer tells them that a case has already been filed and that the hearing will begin soon. Everyone feels relieved by this news. Sean's curiosity now turns into fixation. Instead of thinking about work, responsibility, or his mother's burden, he spends his energy chasing a fantasy that keeps pulling him deeper into trouble. Maria spends the whole day working and becomes very tired. That evening, Sean gives her a massage, but even while helping her, his mind is fixed on Maya. His longing keeps growing, and he feels trapped between idleness, frustration, and obsession. The next day, while it is raining, Sean goes again to watch Maya bathing in the rain. As he moves closer, his foot slips and the weak wall near the bathing place collapses, exposing him. Maya sees him, but instead of panicking, she remains unusually calm. She tells Sean that if he wants to help, he should repair the wall. Sean agrees immediately. Though he says little, Maya notices his youth and the intensity in his eyes. What begins as an awkward encounter soon turns into a secret connection, and Sean leaves that day feeling triumphant and deeply attached. The next morning, Maya comes to the market to buy household items. Later, when she returns home, she sees Sean outside the kitchen window, waiting for her. She quickly lets him in, and they spend time together in secret. Even that day, the sounds inside the house reach James, and he becomes suspicious. But before he can enter the kitchen, Maya comes out and explains everything away. When James questions her, she casually says that she was just busy inside by herself. Hearing her voice, James's own possessiveness awakens again, and Sean slips away from the house. When Sean returns home, a woman named Ria is there. Ria is Maria's friend, and she has come to visit. Maria is not home at that time, so Sean offers her tea and water. Ria notices Sean's youth and growing confidence, and she begins behaving in ways that make him feel powerful and wanted.